Are you a voiceover artist wondering, where the hell is everyone? Sitting in your home studio, stuck in your little box, tweaking levels, screaming into the void? Yeah, well, we've all been there, and it's quite lonely. But what if there was a community, a real-life network of VOs just like you and me, connecting, sharing, growing? Because let's face it, sometimes being a VO artist can feel more isolating than being a COVID patient in the Arctic Circle. My guests today are the Bees, aka Rob and Helen. They are the minds, the engine behind the VO Social, a UK-wide grassroots movement bringing voiceover artists out of isolation and into the limelight. They run events, they build websites for VO artists, and they help VOs actually run their careers like a business. There's a lot to get into in this episode, so stick around, because this one's buzzing with the Bees. Okay, hello, welcome everybody to the Offstage Acting Podcast. I'm Todd Kramer, your host. We don't have Jay with us this week, unfortunately. Jay is somewhere exotic. I think it's Egypt, riding horses around the pyramid. I don't know. He sent me a picture. I'm not even sure what he's doing there. But I'm here, and I'm excited to bring you a special guest. Actually, a duo of special guests. We are voiceover actors, as you will have already sussed out if you've been watching and listening, as I'm sure you have, Jay and myself. And we often talk to other actors, of course, and other voiceover actors, but these two are unique and special in a sense that they have gone one step beyond the norm, and they are helping voiceover actors of all kinds here in the UK and elsewhere abroad learn the craft and actually become even closer and build a community, which is quite, I think, admirable, as it were, because voiceover acting is kind of a lonely, solitary work. So I don't want to hesitate too long. I'm going to bring them right in. They're here with us now. They are the Bees, Helen and Rob B. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello. Thanks for joining us. Me. How are you guys doing? How's the bunnies?
Oh, they're fine. Yes, we have 3 house rabbits which are running around our dining room, just tearing the place up and
chewing on the cables.
Well, we are well rabbit proofed, but yes, they would be if we were
right.
Not as good at keeping rabbits as we are.
They like to do that, don't they? Why
they
rabbits?
Do.
Can I ask?
Well, that's your fault.
I used to, in the mid-90s, I played in a band and lived in a house with the rest of the band members, and they bought me a pet rabbit as a birthday present, basically. Okay. That was it. That's the short version.
That's good. My kids, I have 2 daughters, and they would love a pet rabbit, and I'm slightly reluctant because I would have an outdoor hutch, right? And then you bring them in. I assume you don't have an outdoor hutch. Where do they go, in a cat litter box?
Yeah.
You've trained them?
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Several. We have several boxes because the basic rule, I mean, I know we're not here to talk about rabbits.
No, that's right. But
the basic rule with rabbits is that with litter trays and places where they can go and eat hay, you have as many as you have rabbits plus 1, because they will fight over the one tray. So you need, so we've got 3 rabbits. So I think we've got about six litter trays. Yeah, they can be territorial. You have to be quite careful with them.
And are they all the same sex?
No, we've got 2 boys and a girl.
Oh, goodness.
But they are very much done.
Yes, they're very.
You've done them, okay? Because I was going to say soon. How many
rabbits? Small rabbits coming.
We haven't done them.
Are we expecting? You haven't done them yourself?
No, we haven't done them.
Handy in the kitchen, Rob.
We paid a professional to do that for us.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Well, okay. So rabbits aside, very good. I didn't mention the name of what it is you're doing, but I guess I was going to leave that to you, really. Because I have been something of an admirer from afar over the years. I know that, I have to mention the name because I can't just skirt around it. The VO Social. We're talking about the VO Social.
Sure.
Which was the voiceover social, I guess, initially, right?
Yeah.
Right. And it was founded by 2 others, and then you guys took over the mantle in 2023, right? And I was kind of following them for years, and was kind of a fan because, as I had explained in the intro, and correct me if you agree, correct me if I'm wrong, tell me if you agree. It's a solitary, because actually when we started the podcast, one of you was in one studio, the other one was in another. It's solitary work, right?
Yep.
You're stuck in a booth. And so it was just this kind of really great, admirable enterprise to get voiceover artists and actors together to meet. So maybe you could just walk us through. I know you probably talked about it 1,000 times. You also have your own podcast. I should have mentioned that earlier, the VO Social podcast. Yeah. And so I know you've talked about it 1,000 times on that platform. Give me the CNN version, as it were. The brief.
So slightly pre the voiceover social, we run a business for voice actors called BEE. Yeah. And yes, we did. We were basically approached to take it on. The two founders originally, Nick and Leah, who we've known far too long. For a long time. Their careers were going in slightly different paths, and so they felt that they couldn't give the voiceover social and the communities that enough time, and they basically approached us to take it over. Right. So the premise is that it is exactly how you described it. It is local groups that meet up, giving people a free opportunity to just network with each other and support each other. They started it because they'd moved to a new city and didn't know anybody else. And so they used it as an excuse to get to know other people in their industry, and it spread. And since we took it on, we now have 18 groups around the UK and Europe.
Wow.
We have, they kind of meet, generally groups meet every quarter, I guess, but some meet a bit more regularly, some less. Groups can be anything from 2 to 60 on the meetups. Right. And we have we've also added a great big annual event, which is paid for. It's the only thing that we do that's paid for out of the voiceover social, which is more of a kind of a day celebration, and we get a few more industry experts to actually give people some advice and stuff like that as well. So
I saw that pop up. Yeah, it's February.
It is February, yes. It'll be the second one in February 26th. And
February the 7th, I think it is, hosted in Manchester, because that's fairly central for everyone to kind of get to from around the UK.
There's a decent airport for those that fly in.
Yeah. Good rail links, good road links, all the rest of it. So, Manchester's nice and easy to get to. So, and it's also much, much easier for us to organise it because we live in Manchester as well. Right. So we can.
I think generally with the voiceover social, we've very much found that people want a reason to get together. They want to see other voice actors, but don't necessarily either want to or have the budget to be able to pay to go to the bigger conferences. And if they're not nominated for an award, it kind of takes the shine off going sometimes, and which I kind of get. So we wanted something that was a bit more regular, a bit more accessible. And there's some fab little communities. It's ace.
I can see the benefit in it. I do ADR from time to time when I get lucky. And it's great because it's always the same kind of people, and it's just like a little reunion, and it's fun anyway to do, as you know. And yesterday we got called in. A buddy was doing a thing, and he needed a table read for an audio drama type situation, and called in a bunch of people. And I didn't know who'd be there, but I arrived at somebody's house and to table read this thing, and it was out of 8 people I knew 5, but it was like, oh, what a relief! There's people. Great to see you. I'm not reading an audiobook in my dungeon by myself for 6 days, just going nuts. I'm sitting at a table like a proper actor and meeting and having a coffee and catching up, because you also find out so much about what's going on in the industry that way.
Absolutely.
Right?
Totally. Yeah.
You can pick people's brains. What was this? And all the rumors start to fly.
Yeah.
So
I was going to say, when Nick and Leah were running it, we were both at the first event that they put on, purely because we didn't know that many people. We were quite new in the industry, and it was just a really lovely way to get that connection and to know that you're not alone experiencing some of the weird and wonderful industry shifts that have been going on in the last 10 plus years as well. It's just nice to know other people are there supporting you, and it's not just happening to you sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, is that where you met Nick and Leah then, going to their socials?
Well, we knew them before. Right. Before we formed BEE as a limited company together, then we were both kind of working as sole traders before that. And so my part of BEE is kind of studio tech and helping voiceover set up their studio tech and all that kind of stuff, training people and making sure everything's working well. And so I had worked with Nick and Leah, I think Leah as well, doing that for them before they moved to Manchester. So, we kind of knew them from there. We knew them from one or two other socials and things like that we'd been around, and like the conferences that do happen. So we kind of knew them a little bit before there, but we'd not, really got to know them. And that wasn't, we only really got to know them when they moved to Manchester and started with the VO social.
Is there kind of I guess you guys have been to London, obviously, for work and things. Is it different? Is it more... Because it's kind of international here in London. Obviously, I'm not British. And so I
think Manchester is smaller. In terms of not just in terms of kind of geographically, the city is smaller, but I think the industry is smaller as well. It is international because the industry is international. We've got the remote connectivity software coming out of our ears these days. So, any choice of platforms where you can work across the globe from the comfort of your own bedroom. But yeah, I think Manchester is a great city. I think Media City has done the voiceover industry as well as the whole creative media industry a lot of good in terms of the opportunities and the companies that it's brought to Manchester. So it's very much an outward looking city. I think it's London to me, as not a Londoner, feels very kind of disparate and separate more than Manchester does. There is a VO social in London, which meets kind of a place called Between the Bridges, just on the edge of the Thames. I can't remember exactly which bridges it's between off the top of my head. There's a few to choose from. But yeah, they meet fairly regularly, but yeah, it's the way that local group is run is very different to the way that we run the Manchester one. It just seems to be that anyone who happens to be in London for the day can say, hello, come and meet me at Between the Bridges. And they do a lot of more regular off the cuff meetings, as well as having probably fewer regular ones than we have in Manchester. But yeah, there's a hell of a lot of voiceovers in London. So they usually have a good crowd at their meetups.
Well, that's the thing. All of Soho, for those who really don't know, and I usually have to explain this to people, it's like underneath your feet as you're walking through Soho are a cavalcade, a myriad of studios, literally. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a studio down there. They're everywhere, and you'd be surprised. You walk into a little thin door, and then boom, you're inside, and then there's like 6 studios built all down, and I don't know how they'll never dig that stuff out. You know what I mean? There are some new places opening up a little bit more outside of the center, like Tile Yard and these kinds of places. But yeah, it seems to be built exclusively for voice work, as far as I can see. You have Maida Vale, where the BBC has their like Foley station. There's their studio there, and there are a few places. But apart from that, Soho is like, voiceover central. So that's why I'm kind of wondering how it looks and feels in Manchester.
Yeah, well, I think Media City is probably the closest equivalent we've got Soho. The advantage Media City has is that it's not underground. It's a really well-maintained little area. It's privately owned, so they have very, very regular street cleaning and things like that. So it's always looks impeccable.
All the British networks have a play. BBC's there.
The BBC are ITV, Channel 4 are in Leeds. There was talk of them opening in Media City a few years ago, but they opted to go to Leeds, which is fine. Spread the wealth. I'm all for that. And then there's lots and lots of independent production companies around in Media City as well. So there's no end of things happening.
So you're getting plenty of work.
Yeah, if you work there. I mean, Helen works exclusively from here. have had clients in Media City where I used to go and freelance for them, but actually since lockdown, a lot of that seems to have kind of tailed off. So I very rarely go and do any freelance for anyone anymore. But you know, that's fine.
Things have changed since lockdown.
Things have changed, yeah.
It's crazy. And that's something I'm sure you guys, and I check in with your podcast on a regular when I can, because you always have interesting guests, and there's a lot, you know, people really feed into the, so
Thank
if you, yeah, it's awesome. So that's my little shout out for anybody listening to this podcast. If you are interested in voiceover, you know, work or trying to get work in voice, check out the VO Social podcast, because certainly there's tons and tons of information there, even for seasoned veterans like myself. Yeah, it's very good. And I'm really I'm going to check this. I want to look at the website real quick, because this is cool too. You built this website?
Yes, that is what I do. I am a web design and branding designer. So,
great. Wow, really? Yeah, it's great. The branding is great.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. And and I looked at this on the on my phone. So it's b-e.co.uk. Check out the show notes. You'll find it there. And it really functions beautifully on the phone too. That's just me. I'm buttering you up a little bit, but
I'm fine with that. It would be quite a mistake on my part if it didn't.
If it didn't,
I mean, there's bound to be mistakes in there. Please don't find them.
No, just in functionality. I'm sure there's probably all kinds of.
It's the joy that it's a lot easier to update other people's and clients' sites than it is my own sometimes.
I know that feeling. Yeah, I build websites too, but not as beautifully as yours. And I'm just like, ugh.
It's a never-ending to-do
cheap
list.
And lazy. Yeah. And then you go, I got to dig in there and change something. How did I do that before? But I'm checking out all your services too, so I want to talk about the BWE. So we'll bounce back and forth between VO Social and BWE, because I know that's what you guys are all about.
Yeah, they're fairly intertwined these days, aren't they?
Yeah, I imagine they are. They must be. Life is work and work is life when you're a freelance artist, right? So just quickly, if you don't mind, talk me through some of the services. I'll click on the link.
So the quick and easy way to divide up what Rob and I do is, so we help voiceovers to be seen and heard. So anything audio is Rob and anything visual is me. So I do the branding and website stuff with a smattering of marketing around there, all about the self-promotion. And anything to do with audio, pretty much you do, don't you? So.
Yeah. So as already mentioned, you know, one of my probably the thing that I'm best known for is kind of helping voiceovers look after their studios. I'd either initially set them up and make sure they've got the right gear, and then, you know, upgrading things and troubleshooting things if things go wrong, but also kind of training people in production techniques and how to use whatever software they've got. Also with audio production wise, I can take on, if you've got a job which is kind of beyond your editing capability, I am one of the many people in the UK who you can kind of subcontract that out to. I also going to do showreel production, and, you know, anything like that gets thrown at me, you know, then I'll bash it out and get it back. Yeah. So
bash it out with care. And
bash it out with love and care. Yes.
Yeah. Get your branding right, Rob. That messaging correct.
Yeah. I'll get up at 3 a.m. and I'll give it a quick whirl. No, I think it's vital stuff. You know, I coach a little bit as well, and a lot of the time, you know, when you're coaching, even if you're coaching someone in their talent, and that's kind of the mission of Offstage Acting, is to get people on board with the business acumen, as it were, and your own branding. You've used the term branding a few times now, and it's true. I mean, an actor, even a voice actor, of course, is a brand, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what's your approach to that?
So my approach is a little bit different to some of the voiceover branding advice out there, which I think is fine and good. It's always nice to have more than one opinion. So the way that I brand is basically on client experience. So it's got nothing to do with how your voice sounds. It's got nothing to do with the type of work you do. And also it shouldn't limit that very much so. I think that there's a few people that teach voice branding in that it's how your voice sounds. And I think particularly if you're doing character voices, it's impossible to base a brand around a character if you do 30 different types of characters, or you speak different languages, or you know, the audiobook, the way everything is cast in voiceover, even within such a weird niche industry as voice acting, each genre within that is kind of works very differently. So the way that you pitch for work as an audio book narrator is different to a commercial narrator. It's different to documentaries. It's different to audio tour guides. It's different to IVR. It's different. Every single one has their own niche within a niche. So you need to, if you just brand one of those things, it becomes quite limiting. Whereas if you brand the experience you give to clients, you can do all of those genres. You can do all of the characters. You can do all of the accents and the languages and stuff.
Yeah.
It doesn't limit you in any way, and it should be able to move and shift and grow with your career. And so that's the basic approach. So it's about trying to work out what that client experience is, how you want them to feel when you work with them, and taking it from there.
So yeah, this is interesting, because maybe I'm doing it all wrong. There's something interesting, like if you did a Google search, you know, voiceover actor, American voiceover actor, let's say just that, would my name pop up first, kind of thing, right? Or American voiceover actor, London, would my name pop, or audiobook artist, whatever it is. So how does someone get from going beyond being discovered search engine wise just through a Google to like promoting themselves as a voice artist brand? Like I saw you had logos on there, and
yeah, I mean, it might surprise you as a brand designer that I don't think you need a logo, which might sound like
if you're a person,
bizarre thing to say when that's what I do for a living. But I think the branding goes deeper than that. I think it's, as I say, it's not just about the colors. It's about all the type. It's about that experience. So I think particularly with Google and search terms, if you're trying to compete for Voice Actor London, you're up against thousands and thousands and thousands of individuals, and all of the agents and all of the production companies and all of the casting sites that also are fighting for those terms. And it will be very difficult to come high in Google searches for anything like that. But if you want to fight for male, Cockney accented, of a certain age group doing audiobook reads and explainer videos, that competition is vastly narrowed down. You've got much more of a chance of coming higher up. And I think it's kind of trying to second guess how your clients will try and find you. And as I say, that's about knowing those genres as well, because gaming developers, even indie and AAA gaming developers, find their voices in very, very different ways. And you need to try and understand how they find their voices to then start being where they look. So it's about kind of researching and knowing those industries. And it is a hell of a massive task for someone just starting out. It's a huge tsunami of information, and it is so easily overwhelming. So I think my advice for complete beginners or newer people is start simple and do what comes naturally to you. So if you enjoy being on social media, be on social media. But if you hate it, don't pick that as your primary marketing tool, because it's just you're not going to be able to keep up that momentum. There are so many people giving so much advice. You have to kind of pick your battles sometimes when it comes to promoting yourself. And concentrate on what comes easily. As long as you're doing some marketing, you can't really these days get away with doing.
You can put yourself out there, right?
Yeah, gone are the days where you can just
rely on your agent.
But basically, or kind of sign up to a couple of production studios and get all your work from there. It just doesn't work like that
get
anymore.
A regular client. Yeah. I mean, there's different strands, isn't there? You guys have agents?
No.
Or you hustle?
No.
Okay.
No, we're not voice actors at all.
At all? Oh
no. So I mean, I've been a voiceover producer for over 20 years, and that's my side of it. I mean, I have done a smattering of paid voiceover jobs, but I very quickly decided that I knew which side of the microphone I preferred to be on.
Gotcha.
So I stuck with the production element since then. And Helen has done
I
one or two.
sang an ad once.
Yes, you've done one or two paid jobs as well, and
But yeah, my background is design. That's what I studied, and I was working for marketing agencies and advertising agencies before I went self-employed. And voiceovers found me because of you, effectively.
Yeah.
Okay. You actually did a niche then, Helen, didn't you? You went into a niche market.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was selling my soul to the corporate evils for quite some time, and didn't enjoy it. So yeah.
So you became sort of freelance. You followed Rob and just said, okay, let's freelance and let's build
this. We both went freelance about the same time, actually.
Yeah. Well, yes. Yeah.
More or less.
Well, Rob's always been freelance, haven't you? I mean,
not always. I made my first decade plus working in the voiceover industry. I was working for a small production studio, as a regular employee, but I went self-employed about 18 months before Helen did.
Right, I see. Okay, that's great, man. I really like that. Now, I wasn't planning this, but let's walk through it just for the sake of anybody else. This is like me trying to get free advice, but
I mean, why not? What's the point of a podcast if you can't do that?
This whole thing, 56 episodes of a podcast. Finally, I get my free advice. Okay, but so this is my website. Just for fun, I built this.
I like it, the head poking.
And I pop out there. And I do quite a bit of things, but so like actors on here and some like coaching and comedian stuff. But so I have a whole sort of section devoted to voice artists. So basically you would go to toddkramer.com/voice, and then you kind of get into what is essentially just like a whole web page of, and so you see here for audiences that are just listening, you got the header image, a little bit of a bio, and then you can these are hyperlinked, so you can quickly go because it's quite long.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
definitely makes sense.
Experience. So I put posters of jobs I've done. Cool. You can kind of scroll through just to give it that visual effect.
Yeah.
Then clients, obviously, put your clients and people you worked with. That's on a scroller, like a carousel, right? I think that just gives.
I love it. I love a logo carousel.
Yeah, right.
They work well.
They work well. It just immediately go, oh, this guy, he's prolific. It shows a little bit. Then there's my agent. You can contact me directly through my agent, or there's a contact form. I also have here, tell me what you think of this. This is my equipment list. You'll like this, Rob. Mm-hmm. That pops up. I won't play it in its entirety, but I have a home studio tour. It's a 33-second home studio tour.
Cool.
For clients, noise floor you can play. Then an ADR, you can download my ADR CVs, and then I go into voice reels. And I found this really cool plugin to use. So these are all my reels, and then I break that down into audiobooks, separate, commercials separate, video games, corporate, announcing, narration, on and on, animation. I do accents, dialects, and I've built a whole thing around. So as we were talking before about like showing off what you do, giving the client the opportunity, and I've gotten some pretty good feedback from that from people who have gone, I was able to look at your website and see how versatile you are. Expert opinion. How do I do? What do you think?
I really like the feel of it. I think it's got some lovely. That instant character head popping out at the top. If people obviously are just listening, I'm not going to see that on your homepage, but it's worth having a look at because it says so much about who you are in seconds, and I think that's really lovely. I think it gives a real insight into your personality without saying a single word, and it's really lovely done. I think if I have to be critical, I guess the one thing that I would say is get some downloadable demos right at the top of that voiceover page.
Right at the top, yeah.
Even if it's just a small kind of, obviously you do a lot, so I wouldn't put them all up there.
No,
but I would put
my main,
maybe 3 to 5 kind of key genres of work that you actually really, really want to get working.
Right.
Because that's generally people. So particularly for yours, where you've got other services, it would be, if you can get them on the homepage, great. But it doesn't always work when you're offering so many other things. I totally get that. But the voiceover page, particularly, they need to be pretty much top and central. I think a lot of people expect to be able to get to those straight away.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if you're put yourself in the position of kind of like a casting agent, and they're having a look round, 2-3 dozen websites to try and find a voiceover for their new project, and they haven't got time to be kind of looking for reels.
Right.
They just want to be kind of front and central, so that you are not putting yourself at a disadvantage by kind of not making the sound of your voice instantly findable. Just kind of putting them front and center there, because that's what people are probably clicking onto your website for.
But then going into the detail of each genre is brilliant, particularly for SEO. I mean, if you individual sections that you can jump to, it makes it easier for people to navigate around. Having quick links and stuff like that, I'm a big fan of. I think even if you can do them so that they're not necessarily obviously links, it helps tell Google and other search engines are available, but let's face it, Google, what else is important on your site as well. So it's not just about helping users, it's about training those search engine algorithms. And again, with search engines and the dreaded AI phrase, the more that search engines are using AI and people are searching with ChatGPT and all the other AI-based software, again, those descriptions of what you do are going to be more and more important. If you just have a one-word description of what you do in a demo, it's not going to show up anywhere. It's just, people will just pass it by.
Right.
It's you've got to train these things to, a bit like a social media algorithm. You have to train them what you do, and the way to do that is talk about it as often and as much as you can. And it feels really weird doing it on your own site about yourself sometimes, particularly for performers who tend to be in the more kind of introverted space, I guess. They don't always like shouting about, or find it difficult to shout about what they do. In that respect, it's someone described it as, if you're in the jar, you can't read the label, which I really quite like. So if you think of yourself as the jam, don't know why I picked jam, but I'm going for jam. It's difficult to kind of see what everybody else sees about you, and so it's trying to reflect it out and sell it. You are effectively selling yourself.
Do you recommend people speak in the third person? I don't remember if I did. I think I did first person. I do first person.
I think if it's just you, then first person just generally feels friendlier, feels more honest. And I think, again, with so much becoming AI and people hopefully not wanting to, if they're hiring a voice actor, they want to hire a human. The more you sound like a human and the more that you are you, the better. I think it gives you it gives you a massive advantage over the bots.
The human touch.
It's important to be you, I think.
What are the more successful, those who follow your advice and they're successful? What are they doing right?
Marketing. Actually, I mean, you could not follow any of my advice and do marketing and still be successful. I think particularly these days, direct marketing is absolutely key to a huge number of regular clients and work.
So it's just outreach.
Marketing. It's weird because it's a phrase people kind of misunderstand sometimes as well. All marketing is telling people what you do. And there are a myriad of ways that you can do that. It doesn't just have to be cold emails or picking up the phone. It can be networking. It's building a relationship. It's not selling. It's a different thing. So as long as you're building relationships with people that want to hire you in some way, shape, or form, then
because there is a disconnect between those who give out the jobs and those who seek the jobs particularly in our industry. I did something a while back where I started, and I gave this advice, I think, to Jay and others, but, go on LinkedIn and ensure that someone like Rob, let's say I worked with Rob years ago or something, find him on LinkedIn and connect. And then connect with every engineer or every producer or whatever director that you've worked with. Even connect with the receptionist if she's friendly, or he, or whatever. You know what I mean? And then they're connected to the top people.
You never know where they're going in their career as well.
Exactly. Next thing you know, they'll be directing the video game.
Exactly.
They were getting coffee for last year. So, but apart from like LinkedIn and just sort of trying to, hook in with people that way, I don't assume people are coming, like the VO social is just the artists, right?
it's not just, no, we do get producers and agents occasionally. The meetup we had, they had the first in-person meetup in Paris at the weekend. Which very irritatingly we couldn't get to. Gutted for obvious reasons. It would have been very nice to go. But they had producers, agents, they had all sorts of people there. And we have in Manchester as well, we've had producers and agents, we've had casting directors, we've had people that working in theatre. I think it's far more, and hopefully not just those two groups. I know other groups that regularly encourage, certainly up in Scotland as well. They've done that.
In Scotland, we have, I think, Newcastle as well. Quite a few of the members up there. Not that anyone's a member, but a few of the attendees in Newcastle are.
Some of them are producers rather than voice actors.
What's the impetus for them to go, or what's the incentive?
It's the same. I mean, I think production is very similar. It can be very similar in that kind of loneliness thing. I mean, when I'm working here in my studio, I mean, I can hear her music downstairs when she's doing what she's doing. But other than that, I'm not meeting anybody in the same way that voices don't meet anyone. So a lot of producers do want that that contact as well, and that kind of making friends. But it's also, I think, for producers, it's about putting faces to names. I've worked with so-and-so for however many years down the line, and now I'm actually met them in person. And I mean, going to a particularly kind of like a national conference where there's going to be a lot more of that kind of thing happening, it's ace just kind of seeing these people kind of connect for the first time, even though they've, been speaking for donkey's years. But also I think for producers, it can very much be about meeting new voiceovers as well, and depending on what kind of area of work they're in, they can meet some new voices, new talent that they can then cast in whatever it is they're working in, and so meeting people in that kind of situation, it's informal. It teaches you whether you like the person, whether you get on with them, and in that kind of setting, it can kind of inform a producer about how well you're potentially going to be taking direction, and whether if you are not a nice person, they may not want to bring you into a session where there are clients, because if you're going to be awkward, then
definitely
it doesn't reflect well
in
on
a little
them. So finding
tiny
voices
padded room with
finding voices in that informal setting can be a really good way of finding voices.
I mean, people like working with people they like.
Yes.
And you're more likely to get repeat clients from people that you could genuinely get on with. So the more you can form those genuine connections, wherever that may be, the better. It makes us all feel better as well.
I mean, back in the day when I was working for the production studio, all the work that we did was on ISDN. It was that long ago.
Wow.
When I was kind of picking voices for the jobs I was doing, I would, I always have a really great session when I get them. It's obviously, can they do the job? Do they fit the client's brief? But also secondary from that, who do I go? Do I go with person A or person B? I always have a really good natter with person A, and they're a really nice person, and we just kind of click. So I'm going with person A every time. So this is, part of what the social is about in terms of the producers and agents and all that kind of stuff going, is that you're forming those genuine human connections, which is, as Helen said earlier, a big part of marketing.
Right. Well, I'm a big fan of community building anywhere, anytime, anyway. And the fact that you guys have picked up the mantle and carrying it on is huge, because when you're in an industry like I am, and you love the people, but you don't have the opportunity, it's great to see that there's an opportunity to mingle, meet, and have a community and feel like you have a community. Paint for me, what does an average VO social look like? What do they do? Shirts off, woo, splashing beer.
I mean, it does differ, because we kind of give a lot of sort of autonomy to the local group leaders.
Sure.
I mean, we really do need to shout those out, because we absolutely do not ourselves run 18 different groups.
No,
we never do anything else.
This is very true. Yes.
We would be very lost without our lovely admins. We run the Manchester one, but we have other people, 1, 2, sometimes 3 people running the rest of the groups around the UK and Europe. But generally speaking, we meet
somewhere where he's free to meet. So that generally doesn't mean it's kind of a private hire room or whatever.
Right.
And
It's usually a pub or
it's
a
usually
coffee shop.
pub or coffee shop, and we just kind of sit and chat for an afternoon or evening. They meet at various times across the week, depending on where they are. So the Manchester one meets on a Saturday afternoon. So we'll have a few hours in venue number 1. And then there's like an after party, we like to call it, where we go off and get food for whoever else can kind of stay out a little bit longer.
Right.
We go off and get some food and carry on chatting and stuff. Some of the other ones meet midweek because that's what works better for them. If people are kind of commuting into a city and then out again, Newcastle tends to do that, and London does that quite a lot between the bridges.
I think the Helsinki one.
Helsinki one as well, yeah.
Midweek.
So yeah, it just kind of depends on, and also some of them will kind of have a special guest kind of person to come and either speak or just be there. I have, when I've been on my travels, I have kind of fulfilled that role myself for 1 or 2 groups. Apparently I'm a draw. More people come when I'm there, but anyway,
Wow.
I would disagree, but
enough of my ego. Something like that can just kind of bring in a few more people if it is something that someone's more interested in hearing about or talking to or whatever. But yeah, it is social, so people
informal and free.
Yeah,
are the
very
two key
informal.
rules.
Sit around and chat, and some of the conversation will be work related, and a hell of a lot of it won't be. So it's all good.
Yeah. That's how blown away were you when Helsinki started to?
I mean, yeah, it's another one on the visit list. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, sure. You're like, wait,
that came about because of Sue, who is one of the 2 that heads up the Helsinki group. We met at One Voice conference in the UK, and then a few months later we met her in Dallas as well. So we went to One Voice Dallas, and we just clicked. It was just one of those people. She's just one of those people that we just kind of genuinely really get on with, and she was like, there wasn't anything in Helsinki or anywhere around in Finland that was kind of a group meeting of voice actors, and she's just like, I really want to try and recreate this community somehow, which is I think why all the groups have started up. I think they've all started up because people wanted to find other people that understand what they did for a living, if nothing else. Right. Just nice to be able to talk to someone and they understand the context of whatever issue it is, or not issue, celebration.
It's true,
particularly when you're sat in a room on your own all day. It's
and it's one of those kind of jobs that you really are loath to explain to people.
It's not always that easy.
No. What do you do? Oh, okay, here we go. do you listen to audiobooks? Yeah. Well, I'm the guy who sits there and drones on.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm the person who says cashier number 1, please.
That's right. Yeah. And now 50% off. May cause anal discharge. Discontinue use if no. So the annual event, that's kind of that's the big one.
Yeah.
How many people come to that generally?
So
we've only had one so far. So last year,
or
this year, technically,
January,
was our
January
first.
This year, yeah.
January,
and we had I think there was about 85 people there.
Wow.
I mean, we've got an amazing venue. It's an independent theatre in some grade 2 listed railway arches right in the city centre. So it's a stunning venue. And because it's a theatre, they give us pretty much free reign on the space.
Yeah, they're used to the building being knocked around every couple of weeks when people are kind of getting in and getting out and stuff like that. So yeah, they're just really kind of chilled out. And we didn't change much last year about anything really. We just said, okay, we're going to put a mixing desk there and a microphone there, and that was pretty much it. So they were really happy to let us kind of do that.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a mix of we do have sponsors, we do have corporate sponsors who come, and some of them do free one-to-ones. So if you get a ticket, you can sign up to one of them. So there's that networking kind of professional advice side of things. Okay. We had a photographer doing headshots last year. But there's also a genuine fun element as well. We know that people sometimes just need to relax and don't necessarily want to learn every time they see everybody. So last year we had a magician walking around the arches, and we had a DJ in the evening. This year we have got balloon modeling and face painting, which I'm rather excited by.
Okay.
The person doing that runs one of the other groups for us.
Right.
So she is, as well as a voice actor, she is a kids entertainer as well.
Yeah.
Although she'll be doing slightly more adult versions, I'm going to guess, of her face painting. Unless anybody wants to, you can get face
can
painted
be a tiger,
as a tiger if you want.
If you like.
Why not?
There's
Why
nothing
not?
wrong with that. No.
And in the evening we're doing. So last year we had a DJ. In the evening this year we're doing something a little bit different. Again, partly because we've kind of seen other events, and we know voice actors like to perform. It's part of their job title. Right. But we also know most voice actors do lots of other stuff as well as voice acting. And so we're holding an open mic night. And so if anybody wants to sing or do magic or perform
or
theatre or
a one-act play in 10 minutes,
do a juggle or
whatever it is.
Comedy. We have a stand-up comedian who is comparing it, who is also a voice actor. So she'll be reining everybody in and keeping things under control for us.
Yes.
So it's an element of party and a bit of learning if you want to.
So it kind of starts in the afternoon and then...
Yeah. And pies. We forgot to mention the pies. Pies is a key element of it. We are based in a northern UK city, so we've got to have northern UK food.
Your pies.
Lots of good pies. The pies went down very well last year.
Yeah, pies, mashed peas and gravy.
Yeah.
So that's all.
That sounds very northern. Yeah.
It is a true northern event, yes.
And El Vino will flow, or is it?
I imagine so.
It's a good, there's
BYOB.
There's a good stock bar.
Well, it's a well-stocked bar. The bar is, I'm going to say I'm fairly sure most of it is vegan. It's all gluten-free. So, dietary requirements are catered for with what's going on over the bar.
Okay.
And also vegan and gluten-free pie choices as well. So yeah.
And one of the things we were really conscious of was trying to get small, independent, not good businesses, if that was so businesses that treat their staff well as treat us well. We didn't just want to get in some cold-faced corporate, and we didn't want to hire a venue from an event manager who just didn't really care what we did. And so we've found suppliers and the venue itself who are very much, it is an independent theatre, so of course it loves anything to do with performing because that's what it does. The food supplier is a community program as well, and they kind of help they employ ex-offenders. So they kind of putting back into the communities that they are based. Cool. The bar is stocked by a Manchester brewery and a Manchester distillery, so it's not just about our event being a community. It's about the companies that we work with, very much providing that for who they work with as well, because these things should be more normal, and the world would be a lot happier place if everybody
came together,
did that.
In harmony.
If everybody looked after each other, it would genuinely be a nicer place to live, and I think that's important.
That you're dead on there. That's right. Yeah.
So
I know that's your ethos as well. Yeah, I've kind of tracked that over the years.
It's fully wheelchair accessible as well. That was the other thing. We wanted to make sure that anybody that wanted to come could come.
Right. No barriers.
So and dog friendly.
And dog friendly. Yeah,
Jeez,
that's true.
What about rabbits?
Probably not with the dog.
Probably not with the dog, no. And I don't think the rabbits would like it.
The bar owner has a whippet, so that would be a bad combination.
Yes.
Talk to me about the podcast a little bit. How's that been? How's that journey been?
I have always wanted to do a podcast, and Rob, I think it's safe to say, didn't.
I was kind of resistant. I spend my life producing audio, so why do I want to spend more time doing it? Not that I don't enjoy doing it, but I was kind of very resistant really towards doing it because I knew how much work it would be. Because I'm an audio producer, I make sure that the production on it is obviously within time scales and all the rest of it is kind of as tight and as good as I want it to be. And so, I think so when we started doing it, we've been doing the podcast for about 18 months, I think now.
Yeah.
And my production techniques have become a little bit more streamlined as I've kind of got a little bit more practice, that as you'd kind of expect. But I was initially quite not nervous about it. I knew I could do it, but it was just the the amount of work that I knew it would be involved in doing it.
You're preaching to the choir here, buddy.
Yeah, of course. So we started that 18 months ago, and we've really enjoyed kind of finding the guests and talking to the guests, and we've had some really, really lovely feedback about some of the episodes, done some more than others. I'm sure, nothing wrong with the episodes we haven't had feedback about, but I'm sure, some
right.
people have the favorite guests and all the rest of it. So it's been a little bit different, I just kind of putting that together and doing it, and kind of just thinking about ways of stretching it a bit. I mean, earlier on this year, I think it was in April, it was a beautiful sunny day, so it was just me and Helen on the podcast that month. So I decided to record it in the back garden, because all the birds were out and all the rest of it, and we had some really, really lovely comments about that. Not about Helen, just about the fact that we could hear all the birds and everything in the background. It just made it a really lovely atmosphere, and just little things like that. Stuff sometimes like that, are just kind of nice to do. It's just a bit more.
It's good. We have regular updates now from Equity. They come in every quarter-ish
every 3 months,
give us an update on what's going on in Equity. The guys from Nava, so we get the US side of it to try and keep things a bit more global. So Karin and Tim came over last time, and they gave us an update on what Nava are up to, and so we try and kind of pick guests that are useful to voice actors and interesting to us to talk to as well, obviously, but also we want some of that kind of factual help, kind of information about what's on in the industry. Everything is changing so fast.
It's changing so fast
at the minute.
It's crazy.
And things like AI and the legislation around it, or lack of. There's some, the Equity and Nava do what they do brilliantly, and I am not going to try and give an update on what they know more of. So I'll let them do that bit, but it's great to have them on. I'm really glad that both of those organizations are coming on regularly and giving us a little update and keeping us informed on what they're working on.
What's the long-term goal? Is there one? Or are you just
I think we're just kind of enjoying where we are at the minute with it, aren't we?
I think so.
We kind of break some of the you should do podcasts in this way rules, in that we do them monthly, which apparently you're not supposed to do, and we don't do video.
What are you supposed to do? I do mine weekly.
I suppose kind of weekly, and then you're supposed to have seasons and all the rest of it.
Oh,
we can't be bothered with that. So we do them monthly, which gives us 12 guests a year, basically. So I think we can keep. I mean, we've got lots of ideas already of who we'd want to talk to, and it's kind of nice, kind of phoning up people, or who phones? I don't know why I said that. Emailing people.
I phone if it's a friend.
People.
I've had a lot. Most of my first 20 guests were just friends. I was like, hey, you're doing my podcast, because I don't know what I'm doing yet.
We've spoken to a kind of range of people. So we've had people very much that are voice actors and spoken specifically about their careers. We've had people like service providers. So we've had, last one was an audio producer. But we've had a marketing expert on, we've had a money coach on as well. So we kind of sort of came about a bit more of the business side of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the performance side, which, running a business as a voice actor isn't just about the performance. So, I mean, I'm sure we all wish it could be, because it'd be loads more fun if we didn't have to actually run the business as well.
Yeah, that part we do for free. I do that all for free. It's the hustling that's the problem.
It's the bit that wears you down.
Looking for the job is the job, as we say.
Absolutely.
That's really the hard part.
If we can make that process a little bit lighter somehow, then that's a good thing.
Yeah. So there's no plans for global takeover.
I mean, we do get global listeners. I think we do. I think 60% of our audience is UK, and the rest is.
Well, that's what I was interested, for me to see, was that it was ever growing and going outside the borders. It's like
Yeah.
I mean,
free.
it is an international industry. So, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I think, we've got 60% of our listenership is UK based. I think it's about 25 is US based. So that leaves about another 15% or whatever it is. I never was any good at maths. You know, around the world, and not all the
137%.
countries that we get listeners from are primarily English-speaking countries.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's
Finland.
that's, well, yeah, we get one listener in Finland. No, I think we
must
might
have
get
more.
They
Have
I think,
they have a whole.
I
They
think,
do a whole
I think
social.
they're probably classed as other, actually. But
So the VO social in Finland is just one guy sitting alone in a cafe.
They got quite a good group meetup. Yeah,
I bet they do actually. Yeah.
It's
No, you know, I lived and worked in the Czech Republic for years, and there's a big voiceover industry there because they do a lot of dubbing, and a lot of you can tell which countries are doing dubbing and have a lot of that. So I think there's plenty of room for that kind of expansion once it takes off. How do you kind of market that, or how do you advertise that you can start your own VO social?
It's kind of
Or they have to discover you.
a bit like the rest of the voiceover social. It's fairly informal. So we have a newsletter, an email newsletter, which we do mention at the bottom of that every time that if people want to start up a group. And obviously when we're traveling around and talking to people, then if there is call for a group. So we've had a few people try to set up groups, and for whatever reason, it's just not quite taken off. They've possibly been too remote as town
or too close
city,
to an existing
or
group
too close to an
sometimes as well,
existing one. Yeah, because obviously people do
Right.
travel into these things. But if people want to set it up, then we can. Our job is to kind of support those people. So we don't want. We want to give them a bit of kind of ownership of the group that they run. They can do it to a certain extent how they want to. The main
Until
thing
there's
being
fighting.
it has to be free to attend, and open to everyone. Basically, anybody within the voiceover industry, I think, is the kind of key part of it. But yeah, we've got. I mean, I think Nick and Leah. I'm trying to think how many we've doubled in size since we took it on, haven't we? Since
I think possibly the underside have doubled in size. I think I can't remember how many. There might have been
maybe 8 or 10 groups.
I was going to say maybe a dozen, but anyway, I can't remember.
Yeah,
Walk me through that a little bit. So Nick and Leah, speak for them briefly, if you don't mind. What was the what was the impetus for them to start initially?
They basically they moved to
people.
Manchester. So Nick
okay.
had been living in London and Leah was, I think, in Bristol. And they moved to Manchester about the same time. They were already very good friends.
Right.
And they just didn't know many people around
Right.
Manchester. So they just kind of said, right, we're meeting in a pub. Here we go. Let's see who turns up. And they just kind of shouted out on social media and all the rest of it. And that first meeting, there was, I mean, it's a long time ago now, but I think there was a dozen people or something like that.
Right.
And because they also have the podcast as well, didn't they?
They had the
No,
podcast.
they started afterwards.
They started it after the meetups, but they used it as a way to basically promote
advertise the meetups.
the groups. I mean, they were. I think the episodes are still on there, and there's I think they'd be horrified if people listen to them because some of them are just them rambling about, we're meeting up in this pub at this date.
Yeah, I used to listen.
about
I checked in with it for a long. When it first kind of came out, I was checking in with it. Yeah, and it was,
the very early ones are not what you
Chit-chat
describe as a podcast.
no,
probably.
it was two girls chit chatting.
But they quickly kind of morphed the podcast into something that basically they were talking to people that they were interested in learning more about, or industries that they wanted to get into themselves. And I think it just kind of happened. I mean, they kind of absorbed the right word. There were a couple of other groups around the UK that were already kind of unofficially meeting, and I think they just kind of made it a bit more official. So we kind of what we kind of do with the voiceover social is just try and have a central place for people to find these events more than anything. It's that's when we say we own it, it's kind of we don't really.
They have something to call it, and they have a home base.
And people move around and visit different cities, so we quite often get people that are in more than one group.
Yeah, that's I mean, if I get to
particularly
Helsinki,
London.
I'll be looking.
I mean, the Paris one had people flying in from all over the place. So there was a fair few UK English
there was
people
going
that
down
used it as an excuse to go to Paris.
Good
but
enough
they have people
excuse,
coming in from Spain and Holland and Germany, I think, and yeah, also there's quite a few.
You guys said you went to Dallas. What was that? What did you go for?
So that was One Voice Dallas. So the One Voice
Voice.
conference that happens in the UK, they have a sister
they have
conference. They have
okay.
in Dallas as well. So we did that last year.
What do you do when you go there?
Well, we had our little expo stand, so we
booth,
sponsored it, and we had our expo stand there, and we were just kind of
picking up clients and stuff.
That's the intention, because we are not as well known in the US as we are in the UK, as I'm sure you'd understand. So yeah, we're just there to kind of meet people and try pick up clients and just get our name out there in America as well.
Yeah, we did a workshop over there.
We did do a workshop as well for the conference. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
What about the big one in Atlanta?
We've not made it to Atlanta, have
we? We've not done that one yet.
Yeah,
I would love to go, but it's also the size of it slightly unnerving.
It's big. Yeah, it's really big. Yeah.
There's that one. We've been working with eVocational for the last few of those. So we've just a couple of weekends we were doing online one-to-ones all weekend with eVocation. That was good fun. Tiring because we were
What's eVocation? What is that?
So eVocation and Vocation is a business voiceover conference. So they have an online conference which is eVocation, and Vocation is their in-person kind of one. But it's purely about the business side of running a voiceover business. It's run by Karen Gilfrey, who heads up NAVA as well, and Jamie Muffett, who is a UK voice actor, but he's been living in the US for the last 10-15 years.
Like that,
and they have a podcast called the Voiceover Breakfast Show. Ooh, that would be bad if I got it wrong.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. It's a lovely conference. So I think they do an in-person one, and we've been doing the online ones. Which is great. It's good fun.
This is a nice balance between. This is part of the reason to have the podcast, is because it's also networking and it's community and it's meeting, things like that. But, that was all well and good during COVID when we couldn't do anything else. And now it's sort of there's this kind of nice balance between, the virtual and physical meetings.
Yeah. And we should actually mention, which we failed to up until this point. So we do have an online social as well. There is an online version of the VO social.
Oh, okay.
So if people are scattered and or can't, for whatever reason, can't make one of the cities, there is a monthly online social that we have called the Pint and Rabbit.
I've heard of that. Sure,
which we did start during COVID because we were bored and lonely.
Sick of looking at each other.
Yeah.
More rabbits, huh?
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, that was the rabbit theme.
So that's every month. That's on the third Friday of every month at 5 p.m. either GMT or BST, whichever time zone we're in at the time.
We get people joining in from the US and Canada, popping in for their breakfast or lunch, depending what time zone they're in.
But Australia.
Australia. There's a guy that comes regularly from Australia who just doesn't sleep, apparently.
A voiceover artist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. Yeah. And that's like on Zoom or whatever?
Yeah, that's a Zoom one. So it's kind of, again, free to join in if you want. Sign up on the newsletter.
Yeah, cool.
On the website.
I'll put all that stuff in the show notes so that anybody listening now, if you're really looking, you don't have to dig it out yourself. Just go to the show notes. It'll all be there for you. So before we wrap it up, it's been great, by the way. Really informative. Really cool to meet you guys.
Yeah, likewise. Thank you.
I love the whole community feeling and spirit behind everything you do. And the helpfulness, which I think is critical as well. Just wanted to ask sort of for this podcast is primarily for aspiring actors and things. So this would be advice time, as it were, right? Just in basic broad strokes, like, I'm and I get this all the time. I'm sure you do as well. I'm 18 or 17 or whatever. I want to be a voiceover artist. I usually say, voiceover's closed. Go away. There's no more room for you. But you probably have a whole different approach than that. It's like, we don't need you. There's not a lot of everybody. There's enough voices out there.
No. I mean, it's a good point. It's a heavily competitive industry.
I mean, there is some of that.
Isn't aware of that is going to have a shock.
Yeah, for sure. And I like the basic advice I think we know between us, but you know, obviously you got to get a reel, you got to get some online presence, you got to hustle, you know, approach agents, approach producers, blah blah blah. But so you walk me through what would you say to, or what do you say? Someone comes to you, they're looking for services, they're serious about being a voiceover artist, but they're newbies.
I think from my point of view, I think there's two things to say, and the first of them is it's something you can say to anyone who's something you can say to anyone who's starting up a business, and that is, you know, take it seriously.
Yeah.
It isn't just sitting in a room reading. You've got to train, you've got to market, you've got to make sure that all your kit and your skills and all that kind of stuff are absolutely as best as they can possibly be. You know, you can't succeed if you don't take it seriously.
Yeah.
So that's a really important thing. And the other thing to say really about kind of setting up the studio and all the rest of it is just really to kind of be careful where you take your advice from, because there's a lot of information online about setting up a studio and all that kind of thing, but a lot of the advice that is out there is not aimed at voiceovers. It's aimed at either hobbyist musicians or professional musicians, and their needs in terms of acoustics and in terms of equipment are vastly different to what voiceovers need. So, you know, for someone like me, I can read something which is aimed at a different quarter of the audio industry, and I can kind of read between the lines and extrapolate the information which is useful to me. But if you're coming into it with no knowledge at all of which end of a microphone to use, even, you know, it's going to be difficult to impossible to kind of do that. So just being really, really careful about where you take your advice from, I think is kind of critical to make sure you get set up well straight from the off, and you're not having to kind of correct your mistakes 6 months, a year down the line or whatever.
Especially if it's a financial outlay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that you're looking at, because they take it from me, kids. It's pricey. It's pricey.
Yeah.
This microphone right here alone is
but it's nothing like as expensive as it used to be. I mean, 20 years ago when ISDN was coming in, you'd be paying about £5,000 for an ISDN unit alone, and then you've got to kind of treat the room and get the microphone and all the rest of it as well. So, you know, it's much cheaper than it used to be to get sorted, but it's still an expense.
It's an expense, and to do it right is it's
a whole new skill set.
I'm going to show you my we got 1 second. I just want to show you my equipment list. Okay, here we go. What do you think of that? Can you see it?
Yeah.
I mean, these things are foreign to me. I know basically what a microphone is, but when it comes to the specifics, I'm going to leave that to you, Rob.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that equipment list. I mean, I personally don't really like equipment lists on websites, because you're always going to find a producer who is a gear snob and looks at that and goes, oh my God, a Shure SM7B, I'm not using them, you know, without even giving you the chance to read for them. So, you know, I
hear contention.
No, I agree. I think it's not necessarily about what you use, it's how you sound. And as Rob has visited a hell of a lot of studios.
But they ask.
Yeah, if they ask.
The client always asks for the equipment list. I even have it on my... Yeah, I even have it on my... For home studio especially. So they want to know two things. They want to know, do you have a home studio? Yes. And then they want to know your equipment list.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that's a good rule of thumb.
You might not get the job. Yeah, I mean, you might not get the job because you don't have the equipment they want, but you won't get the job if you don't show that you have a home studio with equipment.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, if you don't have an equipment list on your studio, they have to talk to you then to get the equipment list, or even if it's just by email. And therefore, you've got that small opportunity, that little window there to kind of start building that relationship with them, rather than them looking at your list on your website and then going, nope, SM7B, not using them, and then finding the next person.
An audio sample, I think, like the noise floor sample, that's the key bit. If your studio doesn't sound good, then people won't hire you, regardless of what the kit list is.
Yeah,
you can have the sexiest kit list in the world, but if you're under a flight path,
some of us would say it's about the voice, actually. The sexiest voice.
And not all studios look great. I mean, I mean, yours doesn't.
No,
Thank you.
it's terrible. Mine looks great, by the way. I'll just say.
I mean, when I said yours, I meant Rob's.
No,
by
I
the
know.
way.
I know.
Just all-
I got the picture.
yeah, sorry. Just, yeah,
No,
whoops.
but Rob's doesn't, but mine. But that's part of it is the balance of like, selling myself and my voice, which should be the critical thing, but also then selling the home studio.
Absolutely.
But just sort of like, I like the compliment when I get a client on. They go, "Oh, yeah, I see they just see the crap on the ceiling, and they go, "Wow, you got crap up there." And I go, "Yeah, it's loaded with crap," and then they're impressed. So it's part of it selling the home studio, and this is what you get, and it's that shows I'm pro, and then the voice if you like the voice as well. So there's kind of balance in there, but everything's just marketing back to, and that's what we call full circle.
Yeah.
Right back to where we began marketing. Guys, what a pleasure. Did you have fun?
Yeah,
It's
it was
been
great. It's
ace
been lovely.
chatting.
Thank you.
Thank
Have you
so
ever
much for
been on
inviting
anybody
us.
else's podcast?
I don't think we have
I
together.
Not together.
We've
Not together.
we've both done various podcasts separately, but I don't
Separately,
think we've done one together. have we?
Yeah, no, I don't think people like inviting us to do this together.
Yeah, I don't think
know.
after this,
We do lots of.
I wouldn't expect more. After.
Yeah, I think it is the first time together.
I think it is.
Look at that.
Hopefully we
A
behave.
memory to treasure. No, you're all right. It was fine. We got through all the technical problems too. I appreciate your patience. Now you have a memory to last a lifetime.
Indeed, yes.
You can treasure.
When I made her sit in my office for more than an
Yeah, in that filthy studio. She can't stand.
Dark.
The dark dungeon. You guys got okay light for now anyway. All right. My clap doesn't work otherwise. Can you hear that? No.
hour.
Yay, I'm clapping. Yay. Thanks so much, guys. What a pleasure.
All right.
Thank you. It's been ace.
And, I'll send you all the info. We'll be in touch about how show notes and all that stuff.
Sure. Fab.
Cool. Take care. Bye. We'll see you on the
Yes, thank you
voiceover
very much.
social. Bye.
Yeah. Lovely. Cheers now.
All right, guys. There they were. There they go. The bees. BEE.co.uk. All the show notes, like I said, check it out. Lots of services there. If you're a voiceover artist, you're just starting out, you can go find them. They're a one-stop shop, as far as I can tell, for all your voiceover needs. And definitely a lot of free advice, of course, on their podcast, the VO Social. And check out those VO Socials that are physical meetings going down in a town near you, apparently. And if there isn't one, then guess what? You can set up your own. That's the beauty of it. Really pleased to have met these guys. I'm going to stay in touch. I'm going to go check out a VO Social myself as soon as I can. And appreciate you. As always, thanks for stopping by, checking us out right here on the Offstage Acting Podcast. We'll see you next time. 71 minutes of your life you'll never get back.